Today we're going to have a look at the year 2011, which has just gone, and some of the statistics around the private rented sector, how the market's been during 2011. First 3 quarters of 2011 all showed a very positive private rented sector. Demand was going up, rents were going up, stock was going up, albeit more slowly than the other two. The fourth quarter starts to contradict all of that. Things are slowing down. One of the things that we're not sure of yet is whether that was the traditional last quarter. It often does slow down just before Christmas, and when agents are completing returns just before Christmas, that's the bit that's fresh in their mind as well. What we did see in the fourth quarter, the indisputable figures around it were rising rent arrears. 39% of agents were saying that rent arrears have increased, as opposed to 37% in the previous quarter. We've got to go back 18 months. If we go back into 2010, that figure was under 30%. So we have a worrying trend starting to build up there. And that could be several factors that have caused that. It could be the fact that rents have shot up quite a bit, particularly in London. Rents were up 10–12% over 2011. So that in itself could have an impact on people having arrears. But generally speaking, this is coming in across the country that tenants are starting to struggle. 55% of agents in the last quarter said that they had more tenants than they had property. That is a drop of nearly 20%. It was 74% in the third quarter of 2011. So that's a real drop-off in demand. Again, we don't know whether that's seasonal. We don't know whether people are adjusting. It will start to come through in 2012. Anecdotally, some of that is already starting to appear. Some agents are saying that they're seeing a good start to 2012, strong demand, rents carrying on going up. Again, others are saying very patchy. It depends on the property, it depends on the deal and everything else. So there's lots of things just impacting at the moment. One of the worrying indicators for 2012 is landlords suggesting that there is a drop in the appetite to buy further properties. That was running at 27%, it's dropped to 25%. And whilst that may not be major in its own right, it will have an accumulative effect if it stays that way for a long time. There will be changes coming in this year into local housing allowance and housing benefit. We don't know how that's going to impact, particularly on the young people, with this what's known as the single room rate being increased to covering those up to 35 years of age who are applying for benefits. So that could impact in some parts of the country as well. We would expect that to be particularly prominent in the North East and the North West. London tends to buck a lot of these trends, but we just don't know. And finally, what we don't know in the London market either is what the impact of the Olympics will be. How much property that's currently in the private rented sector may be being slowly withdrawn from the private rented sector to try to maximise income for a very short period out of the Olympics, and will then go back into the private rented sector. Another question that we're keeping an eye on, but we don't know the answer.